If you watch anything in full on social media today, you're really going to want it to be this video. Now, I've known this man's story for about 40 years, and I've always harboured that burning desire that it really does lend itself to a dramatic retelling. I've since dedicated a quarter of my lifetime in achieving that initiative. Firstly, through the stage play Iniquity Camworth and bringing good people together to tell Dic Penderyn's story and to clear his name once and for all. And of course, in recent years, with Calon films and Iniquity the movie. Now, as you're all aware, about 15 months ago in April last year, in Blanco's Hotel in the Michael Sheen Suite, just across the way there, we hosted the first of 3 investors' nights where we invited 180 guests to a luxury 4-course meal, wines and drinks, gift sets, and for the pleasure of their company, we pitched the vision, business plan, and the synopsis of Iniquity to them. The fruits started to come in from all that hard work, and we at Calon Films have invested so much time, passion, energy, and money. I've personally put in my life savings and sacrificed so much into this very special project. It's never been about money for me. Having said that, I'm not naive enough to think that we can't make Iniquity without strong financial backing. Prior to the investors' nights, though, I was introduced to a potential investor by the name of Mark John Davis. And Mr. Davis and I met the first time on Cowbridge High Street, where he turned up in a very flash sports car. And I can remember thinking, this guy's really not my cup of tea. But I was also told around that time, you're going to have to kiss a few frogs, massage a few egos. And I was prepared to do that. Mark Davis was the only high net worth that attended all 3 investors' nights last year. Was quite happy to eat our food and drink our wine and accept our gifts. On the first evening in Blanco's, he shook our producer's hand on the first offer of £250,000. Then, at the second investors' night, he upped that offer and gave me personal permission to announce it to a room of other high net worth and celebrities, including Charlotte Church, to £1 million. In the third investors' night, he accepted again lavish gifts paid for through our money. We're not millionaires. We're just 5 passionately proud Welsh creatives. And then on the 22nd of November last year, Mark John Davis signed a contract of investment in our movie Iniquity for £4 million. We were over the moon. We went public. And the groundswell of support from proud Welsh people, not just within Wales, but around the world, really proved to us what we've always known, and that there is an appetite for this story to be heard. We did conduct due diligence checks on Mr. Davis. There were no major red flags. Some of the numbers that he was talking about, as opposed to what his company in the UK were worth, didn't quite add up. But then he was telling us that the money was coming in from offshore tax havens. In January of this year, Mark Davis attended a launch party covered by S4C and Heno, and we had cameras there, and Mark Davis willingly spoke on camera about his investment in our movie. Here's that footage.
Mark, you and I met 18 months ago outside the Bear Hotel, where I pitched the vision for the first time to you about Iniquity, about this journey that we're going to go on. You made the first offer in April last year. It was up to then in June in this very restaurant. And then in November, you signed us £4 million to make this dream a reality. I can't thank you from the bottom of my heart enough. I've never been naive enough to think, that having a dream is one thing, making it reality. The realities of that is you need finance. And if it wasn't for people like you taking that leap of faith and that courage in us, then we wouldn't be embarking on the next stage of this journey. So I don't really know what the question is, if I'm honest. It's just...
But we knew how passionate you were. Yeah. Like when I first met you and you would tell me about what the background, everything, and he went, should we do it? I was like, do it. Because I knew in your eyes the passion.
So that's basically it. If it wasn't for her,
it wasn't, yeah.
Then I wouldn't have done it. So obviously I met, we got together, one thing like that. And she drives me to do different things outside of my comfort.
So it's don't, by the way.
She does.
Just don't.
Outside of my comfort zone and outside of what I do for my everyday business. And she saw your passion. I'm all about money. investment, money.
It's your investment passion.
It's all about passion and what makes
And that's what it was. And
Appetite for this film, it's going to sell, you know. Obviously, you know me now, Mark. It's never been about money for me, you know. But like I said, I'm not naive enough to realise that without finance, we can't make this happen.
but yeah,
And I understand people are going to invest for various different reasons.
right, it's not all about money.
Irrespective of that, really, I think the fact that you've had that faith in me, in the project, in making this happen, that is immeasurable for me in terms of, well, the gratitude I have is
So thank me, thank her.
It was your passion. It was your dream. I could see what you were visualizing. I could see what you were thinking. The whole thing. I was like, we'll do it. Let's do it. And I knew it.
And then on the 22nd of November last year, in Prof's corporate hospitality box at Principality Stadium, Wales against the All Blacks. One of the few decent performances I think we've seen from Welsh side in recent years. And there was a big result off the field where Mark Davies here, Mr. Mark John Davies, I would like to raise a glass to you, and I cannot express enough my gratitude, my thanks to what you have done by signing that £4 million contract. First drawdown is due now Monday. We can go into production, principal photography in April, May, and tell this incredible story to the world. Thank you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart, each and every one of you. And let's go and tell Dic Penderyn's story.
That interview was taken 6 days before the first instalment of the signed contract that Mark had put his signature on back in November last year. The money didn't land. When we queried as to the reasons why and explained to Mr. Davies the severity of the situation now that we were bang in the midst of pre-production with a lot of public and mainstream media attention on us, he told us that he was £36 million in the red. Again, when we queried why this hadn't been brought up sooner, why it wasn't mentioned even 6 days before when he was sipping our champagne, Mark Davies said, a lot can change in 6 days. Alarm bells really started ringing around that time. We had to start thinking about how we were going to disclose this information. We wanted to honour Mr. Davies's confidentiality. We didn't sign over to any agreement that Mark Davies would be kept anonymous, but out of respect and integrity and the pursuit of honouring that contract, we decided to do the right thing. Mr. Davies promised us that funds would be coming in around March. So we pressed ahead with the open casting calls on St. David's Day, which attracted thousands of people through, not just in person, but on the self-tape portal. And that groundswell grew bigger and bigger. It was almost like a noose round our necks. The last meeting that I had in person with Mr. Davies, I asked him if I could record it in audio. He agreed. And it was around that time we met in the Bear Hotel in a private room in Cowbridge, and Mr. Davies labelled the project a vanity one, wanted to distance himself from it, and wanted to walk away from the contract that he has signed without any question of accountability. It was at that point that our lawyers became involved. And again, even with collaboration through BBC, we have never disclosed Mark Davies's identity. We did that because it was still our hope that we could negotiate some form of resolution privately, confidentially, and professionally. Comms have broken down, and Mark John Davies simply hasn't cooperated with us. Now, we're not disclosing his identity as some form of vendetta. We're not doing it as a get back. We're doing it to protect our interests because we've done everything above board. We've been transparent and we've been honest with our vision and our passion and our business plan for this incredible movie. But this is not the Mark Davies show. We don't want to focus on that individual anymore. But we do feel, look, I live my life by a really simple set of values. And one of them is we're all accountable for the choices that we make in life. God knows I've made a few bad ones. But you face up to the music and you do the right thing. But let's move on. We're not going to allow one individual to derail this incredible movie. The one silver lining to this very, very dark cloud and chapter in Calon Films history is the groundswell of hiraeth and support that has come from you wonderful Welsh. And we can show Mark John Davies that we don't need his money. Much like our ancestors in 1831, the way in which we will get Iniquity the movie off the ground is through people power, through good people coming together to create extraordinary happenings. Diolch yn fawr.